Hey Radiant Souls, my name is Heather. Welcome back to my channel. I'm an author, artist, intuitive counselor, animal communicator, coach, and teacher, and I'm on a mission to empower and embolden others to connect with their divine radiant light while honoring the sacred connection with all life. One of the ways I do that is through a monthly energy forecast where I talk about a lot of the things that we're going through collectively. So this isn't necessarily predictions about the month that's coming. There are other people that do that. What I am doing in this forecast is how can you, yes, you, if you're watching, if you're drawn to this, there's no coincidence. How can you weather what is coming? How can you walk through? How can you adjust your energy? What can you pay attention to and be aware of as you're going through the next few weeks? I work with my team of multidimensional spirit angelic beings. It's a whole mix. If you're new here, there are other videos where I talk about that as well and who they are and how we partner together. But we bring through basically a theme. I channel some intuitive art that I will share with you as well. There is often a gemstone or a crystal that helps us anchor in the frequencies, and then there is often an animal that represents or wants to bring their messages, their frequency forward to be part of the monthly forecast. So we've got all of that to look forward to today for the month of November. What I also want to say is, even though I just said for the month of November, if you're coming to this forecast at a later time and November 2023 has come and gone, trust that there may still be something here that you are meant to connect with, that you're meant to hear, because it isn't necessarily a 4-week or a 30, 31 day, whatever, 30 if we're talking November, batch of time in which the message only applies into that time. We all come in and out of different things and different frequencies, so there may be something here that helps you even if it's not November 2023. When I connected with my guides, what I was shown is that there are many of us who have maybe tried to or successfully bypassed a lot of heavy emotions. Now, you may be hearing that and thinking, I know that I've walked through some really heavy stuff in the last few years, and you likely have. If there are some things that you have pushed aside, you have turned a blind eye to, you have decided that's a problem for future me, I'll deal with it then. This month may be when some of those start to come back up for you. So it may be situations that feel stickier or more tense than they should, memories that come back that you thought, oh shoot, I dealt with that, and why is it bothering me now? It may be something that seems completely unrelated to anything that would bother you, but there's something in the resonance of it that connects back to that thing that you may have avoided. So this is the time in the next few weeks to handle that stuff, to deal with it, to walk through it, to take the time to honor your process, sit with yourself in those quiet moments and clear, cleanse, go deep so that you are renewing and refreshing your energy to be able to expand even more. Pretty much anyone listening to this, if you're watching this channel, if you're connecting in with my work, you're on a path of growth and development, and you may call it ascension, expansion, anything like that. This is like a little bit of a plateau for a lot of us before the next big path of development, the next big batch of frequencies that are coming into our planet at this time that we can tune into. So the word or theme for the next few weeks that I'll say is representing November 2023 is coherence. So when we look at the definition of coherence, I picked out 3 different elements that I wanted to focus on, or that I was called to bring up in this conversation. And the first is, it's the quality of being consistent. The second is the quality of forming a unified whole. And the last is a clear relationship between parts. So our message for the month and how we can navigate that and how we can deal with those heavier things that are coming up for us, we can connect that in to these 3 aspects of this definition. So the quality of being consistent when we are on a path of growth and development, ascension, expansion, however you want to phrase it. Sometimes we get really excited by the next new thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And we don't develop the good habits that maybe anchor in and ground in the things that we are learning. So a lot of us are spending time in the higher frequencies or in thoughts and emotions, in activities that make us feel expanded, because that's a really, really great place to be. And once you can figure out how to get to that level, we'll say, of expansion, it feels amazing. And we don't want to come back and deal with the things that are maybe a little heavier. But that's why my team is saying those are the things that are coming up for us in November, because we maybe have been hanging out. I kind of see it like on the playground. We're hanging out on the monkey bars. We're just dangling, but there's the other stuff. There's like the mud pit or the, I don't know, the sandbox that we've got to get in and get dirty a little bit. And that's okay. We can handle it. It's because we have the expanded awareness and have tuned into these new frequencies that we can now bring different aspects of ourselves. We have different qualities that we can use in some of the heavier frequency stuff in our world. And so many of us are, as part of this ascension journey, straddling what seems like 2 different worlds. We are living and expanding and exploring new frequencies, but then we still have our current existence, our 3rd dimensional world. That's by design. That's how it's supposed to be. We are the ones who are anchoring in the new frequencies. We are the ones who are transcending and alchemizing the world that we see around us. But we only do that when we handle our stuff, when we don't spiritually bypass, or when we don't kick things downfield for ourselves later, but when we are handling what we need to. So I feel like there are opportunities for many of us to really take our eyes or our energy away from the absolute, the expansion, the ascension, and the deliciousness of that. It'll be there. It's not going anywhere. You're not going to miss out. And coming back in and saying, how can that new version of me that knows I can see, feel, taste, touch, sense those higher frequencies, how can I use those as ingredients to resolve, solve, or make progress on things that are maybe lower frequency? And none of this is judgment, by the way. Higher doesn't mean better. Lower doesn't mean worse. It's just a state of experience. It's a state of frequency. But we have that opportunity to be consistent in weaving back into the world the things that we are learning. So we're not learning and expanding just for the sake of expansion. We need to bring it back and apply it. It's like theory and application. We need to merge those 2 together. So the quality of forming a unified whole, that's part of this as well. That is the bridging together of those worlds. That is connecting in with your community and others who feel and see and envision and dream the world in the way that you do. So have those conversations, find those people. If you're interested in more of this, I also want to mention that over the past few weeks, I led a class called The Enlightened Path, and we had so many beautiful souls join that class. And they were in a similar state to kind of what we're talking about here, where they had projects that they wanted to launch, or they had steps they wanted to take in their life, or they just wanted to know what's next for me. And the class helped walk them through next steps and gave them some tools. So if you're someone who feels you would benefit from that, all that content is available on demand. I'll put a link in the description box below. I recommend it for anyone who is kind of exploring self-development. You can come in at any place on your journey and I think find something helpful there. So I wanted to mention that too. But when we look at forming a unified whole, it's within ourselves, within our minds, within our hearts, but also finding that community and then a clear relationship between parts this is where we're going to dive into looking at the word coherence a couple of different ways. Those of you who are not new here, you know that I and my team of guides, we like to kind of play around and dissect them and look at them a little bit differently. So when we're looking at the combination of parts and things being in coherence, what we wanted to talk about was coherence, H-E-R-E, take the here, and really do some of the internal work for yourself throughout the day. And this goes to building consistency as well, because this is a great habit to get into. It's a good thing to have as a routine. Asking yourself, where are you? And that doesn't mean, your GPS location, but where are you? Like, check in. Am I okay? Am I good? Am I here? Or is my mind like wandering out to things where maybe my energy is being pulled? Or am I really applying all of me to the present moment? To the extent that you can, in and out of different situations. It'll be different for all of us with what we have going on throughout our day, but monotask. Be present. Be here. Be present with the one thing you're doing, with the one conversation you're having, with the one thought that's in your mind. Give it your attention, give it your presence, and see how much that helps you feel coherent, that helps you feel grounded, that helps you feel present, that helps you feel less pulled and scattered and manipulated. Just give it a try. And then here, are you fully in your body? A lot of us who are exploring and expanding into those new frequencies, we're really operating kind of from the heart chakra up. And that's great. That's a very expanded place to be. But energetically, it looks to me like those doors where you can open the top half and the bottom half can stay closed. We're doing that to ourselves energetically a little bit. So make sure when you are bringing in those higher frequencies, that stuff that feels great, that lights you up, that you are grounding it in. And that one way to do that is just say, am I fully in my body? Am I aware of even where my feet are? Because sometimes our minds are just off on a tangent somewhere, or our energy is spread out somewhere else, bringing it back, being present. And then, are you fully in your experience of the world? And this is a challenging one, especially looking at world events in the way that they are right now. And I'm not saying we ignore what is going on in the world, but watch your investment of energy and time and make sure it is coherent with what you want to envision for yourself in the future, for yourself in the current moment. So are you fully in your experience of the world? That means, are you living as if? Are you being that version of you that the future requires? So if you are feeling spun out by seeing chaos in the world, by seeing tragedy in the world, if you get kind of hyper fixated or focused on that, ask yourself, is that who I want to be in the future? Is that serving me? And if the answer is no, do what you need to do to shift out of that. Go for a walk, meditate, do something to break that pattern with yourself, because make no mistake, we're talking about coherence because it is one of the greatest tools and the most powerful concepts that we can master for ourselves, because the world around us, the manipulations that are at play, want to bring us into incoherence. Because when we're fully coherent and we're present and all of our energy is here and we are empowered, it looks like a battery where the charge just keeps going all the way up to 100%. We're unlimited. So of course, anyone who may not want us to be unlimited, who benefits from us being less than, wants to throw chaos and wants to throw incoherence around us. So staying in that experience of your world, your future. So I'll give another example. If you are in comments arguing with people, there's no other way to waste so much time than arguing with people on the internet. You're not going to change their minds. everybody has their own opinion. Everybody is there. Is that serving you? Are you in a state of coherence with who you want to be? If you are, if that's who you want to be going forward, then you absolutely are in the right place. If you just want to keep like on the hamster wheel and not getting anywhere with anything. But if that's not serving you, step away from it. And it may not be that. It may be the thoughts in your mind that are kind of just not serving your highest and best interest. Watch out for those as well. Be fully in your experience of your world. The other part of that is how many people are trying to color on your page of the coloring book and say, oh, well, this is how it should look, or it should have this texture, or it should have this color. If that's not your experience, stand fully in your own coherence and own that. Be here, Here, with that. The next part of coherence that my guides wanted to highlight is if we look at cohere, Hear-ence. Looking at the frequency of sound around you. What words are you speaking? I have, if you are new here, there is a channeled blessing that I brought through was it years ago, you guys? I don't even know. It's been a while. But one of the sayings in there is bless my mouth so that I'm speaking words of kindness to myself and others. So that's kind of coming into my awareness now. Listen to the words that you are using. They are ingredients of creation. So it doesn't have to be you're actually vocalizing them. That's just kind of how we're constructing this in what we're talking about today. But coherence, here. What are you hearing from yourself? Are you hearing limitation? Are you hearing fear? Are you hearing judgment? If you are, and that doesn't match that future version of who you want to be, then do the work. Change it, pattern interrupt it. Get in there, work with a practitioner, do some self-development, take a course, whatever it is, reshape that for yourself. Because as you are hearing things that don't match what you want, you're falling out of coherence. And you're falling out of coherence, not just with yourself, but with that community that you may want to find. Those people who believe and feel and just kind of are on the same wavelength and groove in the same way. I don't know who says that anymore, but they're on the same wavelength. They have the same vibe that you do. They're interested in the same things, in the same future. If you aren't kind of holding up your end of the bargain, if what you hear when you are listening to yourself talk, either to yourself or to others, is not in coherence with what you think you want in the future, it's a great opportunity to change it. And the next few weeks is the month where we roll up our sleeves and we look at the down and dirty, maybe not so great bits of things that we want to change, and we dive in and we change them. So we bring them into coherence. We're bringing them into balance. And so when you're listening to either what's being said to you or what you are saying, and again, it doesn't have to be a vocalization, but just in general, what's around you, is it kind? Is it in integrity? Does it match what it is that you want? Is it adding to or subtracting from your happiness, your joy, your truth? And is it of value? So those are some things that the team thought would be great to look at. So I want to talk about the gemstone or crystal that enhances or kind of fits in and dovetails with this message. And I have a specimen of my own collection here. The mineral or gemstone is fluorite. And this is a fluorite little obelisk, wand thing, tower, if you will. And what I love about this one, and fluorite in general, is the beautiful greens and purples in it. So fluorite is really good for stabilizing your energy. So it even kind of looks like waves of like, I'm just going to sit in this little space and like reset, recalibrate everything. When we were talking about existing in kind of the top half of your energy body or the top chakras, this looks like that because you've got maybe the green for the heart chakra, you've got purple, you've got some clear quartz looking in here too. But interestingly, what I get from this is with the energy body, fluorite helps ground and it helps stabilize things. So that's just something that wanted to come forward, and you can use that if you have some fluorite in your collection. You can make a crystal grid out of it. You can carry it with you. This isn't really a portable kind of a one, so maybe if you have a smaller version or you have it on some jewelry, but you don't even need that because you can also just set your intent to connect with the frequency of fluorite. This works with anything, so you don't need to buy the crystal, you don't need to buy the tuning fork, you don't need to purchase all of the things. You can. There's nothing wrong with it, for sure. But you can also tune into the frequency. Set your intent to tune into the frequency of fluorite, to tune into the frequency of any other tool that you want to use. If you want to work with a rose, for example, set your intent and do the work and develop your intuitive faculties so that you can do this, but connect to the frequency of rose. Connect to the frequency of anything. So you don't need the actual physical object, although again, if you want them, they're fun to collect and it's fun to have things around as tangible proof and things to connect with, but you don't need it. So I wanted to mention that as well. When we talk about the animal that wanted to bring forward a message to support coherence, it was the whale. So similar to, it's a little bit dolphin energy, but grounded and just so very smooth, so powerful, effortlessly propelling themselves through life and paying attention to what's around them. What are they in coherence with? The echolocation of finding things around them. And really just this very ancient and wise energy. So tuning into that can help you connect into coherence this month. When we look at the art that came through for this month, it's interesting. It looks like a progression from last month's art of emergence. We've got some similar colors and some similar maybe movement or pattern in the background. But this is about using your words, again, coherence, H-E-A-R, and observing what you're putting out in the world and what's coming back around you. And I think this kind of looks a little bit like maybe a dolphin tail as well, if you want to look at it that way. But the thing about these pieces of art, in the way it was explained to me when I first started channeling them, they're frequency based. So within this, the colors have specific frequency. Every nuance of every color has a specific frequency. The shapes have specific frequencies. There are things baked in here that represent coherence in this time frame. This isn't, the only way to represent coherence from here until the end of time. It is a unique signature of what we're working with right now when we're talking about coherence. So you can also work with the art. You can go to my website and download a free digital copy, and I'll put that link in the description below as well. You can also get a printed version of this in an 8x10 giclée print on fine art paper that I sign and date and mail out to you. And you can also purchase a digital download without a watermark that you could then print on anything. And so some people like to have these on their phone, and then anytime they kind of look at the lock screen of their phone, they're connecting in with that message to remember, hey, am I in coherence? Am I standing in my truth? Am I in integrity? Am I watching my thoughts and my output? And am I resonating where I want to be in the future? You can also put it up in your house. You can print it. People have put them on blankets and towels and just had them on posters, things like that, and connect in that way. And even if you aren't really working with the art, but you just like it, you can always, of course, bring it home in any way that works for you and display it. Let's give ourselves an affirmation or mantra or something we can say to remind ourselves of how we can work with this energy going through the next few weeks. I am fully present. I am here. I am empowered to walk through any challenges or obstacles. I have the skills, the knowledge, the courage, and the energy to uplift myself and others. All right, my friends, I think that is all that I have for this message. I hope that you found this helpful, and I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.